It is said that this scene is neither special effects nor a stunt double. Megan Fox, who played Jennifer, took to the stage with real skills just to better portray the character. The story takes place in a mental hospital in a remote town, where a patient with a bad temper lives. The nurse was just greedy. She ate too little and was malnourished. The male nurse came up to break up the fight, but when she struggled, it took two strong men to subdue her. Her name is Needy and she was a high school student 2 months ago. There is also a best friend named Jennifer who grew up with her and was the captain of the cheerleading team, but the two have completely opposite personalities. Jennifer is beautiful, lively, and sexy. She is the school beauty. Jennifer is not content with a monotonous life and is very eager for a prosperous metropolis. Also keen on showing the Cinderella Needy to the world.
Why? Because Low Shoulder are playing at Melody Lane.
There was a band coming to perform in the small town that night, and Jennifer wanted to win over the lead singer of the band. Yudo placeholder Zero was planning a date with her boyfriend. But whenever Jennifer shows the slightest dissatisfaction, Needy will give priority to her best friend's needs. That night, Needy didn't want to steal Jennifer's limelight, so Needy changed into less catching clothes. In the eyes of Needy, she and Jennifer share the same interests and wear the necklace of friendship. When they arrived at the bar, almost all eyes were fixed on Jennifer. Jennifer, however, was clear about her goals and ignored the boys who approached her proactively. Jennifer turned down her ex-boyfriend who was in the police reserve. When the lead singer of the band appeared, his eyes fixed on him intently. The lead singer was naturally overjoyed to see Jennifer coming. He struck up a very gentlemanly conversation with Jennifer. However, when Jennifer went to the counter to get the wine, the lead singer and his teammates were actually gossiping about her behind her back.
This girl's definitely a virgin, okay? Now, I know girls like...
Hearing this, Needy was furious and went up to argue with them, claiming that Jennifer has no experience and won't date a man like the lead singer who deceives and plays with women's feelings. Needy then left. Jennifer came back with the wine. Needy relayed to Jennifer what she had just heard. Jennifer said she didn't care. Even the back door is not the first time. The lead singer's interest in her actually suits her taste. After the performance began, Jennifer voluntarily squeezed into the first row to show her support. The lead singer was completely infatuated with Jennifer. Only the worried Needy was distracted. She noticed a burst of flames in the corner of the stage. The flames spread along the stage curtain throughout the entire bar. She had thought it was also a performance, and the entire bar was engulfed in flames. Everyone was running for their lives in all directions, but Jennifer became dazed and stunned. Yudo placeholder Zero hurriedly pulled her away. After escaping from the fire, Jennifer is still in a daze. The lead singer pestered Jennifer again. Under the pretext of comforting her, he lured her to drink the wine in his hand. Then he pulled Jennifer towards the band's car. Needy advised Jennifer not to leave strangers. Unfortunately, Jennifer seemed to be possessed and remained unmoved. Just as the door closed, Needy saw fear and unease in Jennifer's eyes. She didn't get on the bus voluntarily. The more Needy thought about it, the more frightened she became. She called her boyfriend at home. Before they could say a few words, the doorbell of Needy rang. Needy went downstairs to answer the door, but there was no one outside. She figured she must have misheard. But as she was about to head back upstairs to rest, she heard a strange noise coming from the kitchen. Needy approached cautiously to check. It turned out to be just the faucet dripping. But as she tightened the faucet and was about to leave, Jennifer suddenly appeared behind her, covered in blood, looking absolutely terrifying. Needy suppressed her fear, her voice laced with concern, as she asked, "What happened?" Jennifer gave an eerie smile. Then she grabbed food from the fridge and gobbled it down, but soon started vomiting. Needy was truly spooked. Instinctively, she grabbed Jennifer's arm to comfort her, only to find the arm in her grasp was as cold as a corpse. Needy scrambled to run out, snatching her phone to call for help. But she was a step too slow. Jennifer grabbed Needy, and she lowered her head and opened her neck wide towards Needy bloodthirsty. But upon seeing the necklace representing friendship, Jennifer pushed Needy away and fled Needy as home. The next day, the news of the bar fire spread throughout the town, and in the classroom, the listless Needy recalled the past. When she was a child, she promised Jennifer that she would always keep her secrets. At this moment, Jennifer was safe and sound, standing before her in a glamorous manner. Needy felt incredulous. It seems that what happened last night was just a nightmare, and cleaning the stains on the floor all night was just an illusion. But those black nail crevices were enough to prove that everything that happened last night was true. The teacher walked into the classroom, said solemnly 8 teachers and students also lost their lives in the fire. This news made the students especially sad. A boy burst into tears because he lost his best friend. After class, that boy was standing alone on the playground, feeling sad. Jennifer, however, stepped forward to comfort him. Show Thatch can understand his feelings. Then she took his hand and placed it on her chest.
I think it's broken.
Just for a little while, being approached like this by the goddess. Who can stand it? So when Jennifer pulled him into the woods, he followed in without any scruples. He was also intimate with Jennifer in the woods, lost in the moment. when he realized something was wrong. The area nearby was already surrounded by restless animals. It's as if I'm waiting to watch a grand play. This makes boys feel scared, but it's already too late. When the teacher came over following the sound, the animals are eating his body. The police quickly cordoned off the scene. It's a pity that the murderer had already fled. The boy's parents were heartbroken. The real culprit, who had eaten and drunk his fill, was swimming naked in the lake without restraint. When Jennifer emerged from the water, her graceful figure outlined charming curves. The lake water had washed away all the evidence of her guilt, as if nothing had happened. Jennifer was so excited about her appearance that she called Needy to share her joy. Yudo placeholder 0 is still worried about the fire, and thinks Jennifer is too lacking in compassion. It was the first time that the good sisters had a rift in their relationship. Then boyfriend called in. Needy quickly changed routes to ease the situation. Little did she know that while she was on the phone with her boyfriend, Jennifer picked up a lighter and burned her tongue. Her rapid self-feeling ability delighted her, making her feel like a reborn deity. The fire and murder incidents cast a shadow of death over the small town. Only Jennifer, nourished by flesh and blood, becomes increasingly charming. However, her beauty lasted for less than a month. Jennifer hates this feeling. She began to look for the next target to nourish herself. That day, a friend of Needy with curly hair came up to strike up a conversation. Jennifer asked Curly to make an appointment to watch a movie together in the evening that night. Curly arrived at the appointment address given by Jennifer. Here are row buildings that have not yet been renovated, standing in the silent darkness like a ghost street. Curly hair still gathered her courage and walked in. He saw a room with the light on and walked up to turn the door handle, but failed to do so. He had no choice but to climb in through the window and walk down the narrow corridor into the lit room. The room was filled with burning candles, and the eerie atmosphere made Curly realize something was amiss, but it was too late to regret now. At this moment, Jennifer appeared behind him, ignoring Curly Hair's questions and being intimate with him. But when Curly Hair was lost in a state of confusion and infatuation, Jennifer, however, no longer had the mood to play games. She finally revealed her true colors and began the devilish hunt. Needy, who was also dating a boyfriend, it seems to have sensed something. She saw blood dripping from the ceiling and reached out to touch it, but found nothing turning his head. On the sofa inside the room sat a dead boy. Jennifer stood on the boy's shoulder, smiling strangely like a devil. Needy returned home in terror. She began to recall the changes in Jennifer during this period, from the bright cheerleading captain to the bewildered girl on the band bus, and then to the bloody ghost just now. What on earth has Jennifer gone through? Needy, full of thoughts, returned to the house and lay down. It turned out that Jennifer was lying in bed, but it's even more terrifying. Jennifer comforted Needy, saying she wouldn't bite her, and then began kissing Needy. Needy seemed addicted to this feeling and was lured to collapse onto the bed, but she soon became clear-headed and questioned Jennifer about the reason for her change. This time, Jennifer shared her experience. When he got into the band's car, he found that there were books about skulls and witches placed on it. Only then did I realize that the band had another conspiracy. It turned out that they had found a ritual online. As long as a virgin was killed on a moonlit night, she would be sacrificed to the devil through the ritual. This way, the band can become extremely popular in exchange for the devil. Despite Jennifer's pleading, they tied her to the side of a waterfall called Devil's Lake and then took her life. Although Jennifer is still alive now, she is actually dead. The listener Needy was already in tears as she showed a nonchalant attitude towards the victimization. It turns out that the reason why that band became so popular was that it became a spiritual pillar for many people in the small town. It's not because they are powerful, but because they sacrificed Jennifer's life to bring the band to great success. Because the band sacrificed the wrong person, Jennifer was not truly killed, but became the host of the devil's parasitism. One needs to devour others to satisfy the devil. Back in the town, Jennifer instinctively went to Needy, but instinct told her not to hurt Needy. She could only change her target when she met a classmate who survived the fire on the road. Jennifer began her first hunt, saying that she showed off her special abilities to Needy. She slashed her arm with a weapon, and blood gushed out from the wound. But soon he returned to his original state. Perhaps it is precisely the ability of this immortal body. It's also because Jennifer died once. She no longer holds a sense of awe for life. The next day, a funeral for Curly Hair was held in the small town. Curly Hair's mother and friends were all very heartbroken. Yudo placeholder 0, who was watching the whole event, was also in a low mood for a while. She wanted to stop Jennifer's evil deeds, so I went to the library to borrow books about the devil. From those books she learned that the devil is most vulnerable when he is hungry. Just stabbing his heart with a knife can kill him, but that also means Jennifer will die. There will be a dance party at school soon. She guessed that the dance party venue would become Jennifer's hunting ground. It so happened that Jennifer was very interested in her boyfriend. Needy advised her boyfriend not to attend the ball, but after hearing her reasons, he instead advised Needy. Jennifer was already very hungry on the night of the dance. Needy had been waiting at the dance venue for a long time. She wanted to intercept Jennifer. But even when the dance started, she still didn't see Jennifer or her boyfriend show up. The venue had turned into a carnival night for the culprit band and their fans. Standing among this group of fanatical people, Needy suddenly realized something. She hurried to her boyfriend's house to look for him, only to find out that he had left 20 minutes earlier. After asking about the direction her boyfriend had gone, Needy chased after him without stopping. As she had thought, Jennifer had set her sights on her boyfriend. She had even tricked him into an abandoned swimming pool with the false news of Needy's infidelity. Jennifer had planned to do what she always did, seduce the target with her beauty and then torture them to death. However, her boyfriend trusted Needy deeply and rejected her. She no longer holds a sense of awe for life. When seduction failed, Jennifer directly started the torture. By the time Needy arrived, upon hearing the screams, Jennifer was pinning her boyfriend down and feeding on him. With his neck bitten into a bloody mess, Needy jumped down bravely to save him. She took the pepper spray her boyfriend threw over and sprayed it fiercely into Jennifer's eyes. Jennifer, as if just returning from hell, spat out a large amount of strange black water from her mouth. Needy couldn't defeat the demon-possessed Jennifer, so she had to resort to verbal confrontation. Though such harm couldn't kill Jennifer, seeing her bleeding profusely, Needy still showed a look of concern. Her reluctance seemed to diffuse the confrontation between the two close friends. Jennifer stopped attacking, silently climbed out the window, and left the swimming pool. Needy hurried back to her severely injured boyfriend. She wanted to call for emergency help, but it was already too late. Covered in mud, she lay in her bedroom, looking at photos of herself with her boyfriend and photos of Jennifer. It was then that she realized everything could never go back to the way it was. She made up her mind to kill the demon. That night, when Jennifer was hungry and selecting a new target from the school yearbook, Needy pounced on Jennifer in a fit of rage, accusing her of killing her boyfriend. Jennifer instead was aroused and bit Needy's shoulder hard. After breaking free, Needy took out a utility knife for cutting paper. This act, symbolizing the rift in their friendship, completely enraged Jennifer. Using the devil's power, she levitated and grappled with Needy. She no longer holds a sense of awe for life. After killing Jennifer, Needy developed mental problems. She became prone to losing control, suffering from severe hallucinations and delusions, unable to distinguish who she really was. But this might not be a bad thing. Having been bitten on the arm by the devil, Needy did not meet death. Instead, she absorbed the devil's powers for her own use. Back then, because Jennifer was abused, she only dared to lash out at those weaker than herself, and didn't dare to retaliate against her abusers. Now, with power, Needy would end the source of that pain for her. After escaping from the mental hospital, Needy found a knife on the road. It was the knife the band had used to cruelly kill Jennifer. They had thrown it into Devil's Lake waterfall to destroy evidence. But now the knife had reappeared, seemingly guiding her in the way to end the root cause. At that time, the once popular band was living a life of luxury. They felt no guilt for killing Jennifer, nor did they expect that having made a deal with the devil, they would face the devil's punishment that night. When the doorbell rang, blood spattered all over the walls, and all members of the band became corpses. The movie ends with only a piece of security camera footage. Fans, hearing the bad news, rushed frantically to the crime scene, while only the killer walked against the crowd. Passing the hotel's security camera, the frame freezes. The killer looks up directly at the camera lens, like a silent provocation, or rather an unbridled warning. Jennifer's story comes to an end with such a sharp and meaningful gaze. What leaves a deep impression on the audience is Jennifer's downfall, Needy's transformation, and the band's evil finally being punished. However, there seems to be a group that is overlooked, the still crazy admirers in the final security camera footage. Even after the murder has occurred,